Hello and welcome to the Slingshot Channel. You probably know now that I love the new Cobra R9 crossbow so much because it has this lever action bang mode. And I've created this magazine for it, which I really like. But then every time I shoot something with arrows, people say, can you also shoot steel balls from it? And vice versa. So the challenge for today is, can we convert the Cobra crossbow so that it shoots steel balls instead of arrows? Of course, in order to not destroy the crossbow limbs, it is necessary that the steel ball weighs about as much as the bolt that is made for the crossbow. In this case, this bolt only weighs about 8 grams, and this is a 7-gram steel ball in 12mm diameter. So this would be the correct ammo for it. But the problem is, if you try to shoot something like this from a crossbow, even if you just use a slotted tube or something, the force of the string will be so high that it will easily jump the bullet. This means it will squeeze over or underneath, and then the whole thing will go to pieces. So therefore that is not an option. These things from a powerful crossbow can only be shot by means of a sled pushing the steel ball and entrapping the string. So let me show you what I came up with. The steel ball conversion for the Cobra R9 crossbow. Let me show you its features. I modified the Cobra two ways. First thing I did is I created this sled, and as you see, this sled here actually travels in the mechanism quite freely, and as you see, it entraps the string. I needed a little more height because otherwise it is impossible to squeeze the string through this. So, and also it has a magazine in front. Here you can see that I put a neodyme magnet in front, and what happens is if I put a steel ball to it, you see, it attaches to it. And it allows me to shoot the steel ball, which still runs in this kind of groove here. Of course, held by the magnet, so it cannot escape. The other change that I did is, see, this is now under much higher tension than originally. Let me show you the original setup. So as you see, the pre-tension is much higher, and why is that? It's because the final tension should be the same. And the sled, of course, adds some length. So if I cock this, which is easy enough, you can see that normally the string would go back until behind the sear, like here. Therefore, this is kind of dead play that we eliminated simply by using a shorter string that I made myself from scratch with a little bit of Dacron. And now everything is fine, and I can easily use it to shoot with some kind of force. This has no aiming device yet, but let me shoot at that board and see if the steel ball can penetrate it. See, this goes super smooth, just like that. Hit it high, but it cleanly went through. Okay, let's do it one more time. Yeah, that was a lot better. Seems like there's plenty of power. Let's try to find out how much by using trusted crony. (188.2 feet per second). 188.5 feet per second. Now that is of course a lot less energy than the bolt. It's a clear disadvantage because of the sled. Because the sled has to be accelerated too, and the sled probably weighs more than the bullet itself. So the payload of both together is higher, and also there's certainly an additional amount of friction of the sled in the groove. Therefore, it is far more efficient to shoot this with arrows than with steel balls, but steel balls is fun. This works pretty good. Question is, can we also make a magazine so this is a ball shooting repeater? Well, it's not so easy. This is the magazine that you probably recognize. I made it for shooting these bolts and even widened it so it would also take broadhead outfitted bolts. with this kind of spring magazine lever here. This is a fairly simple thing. It's really nothing more than a box. So the challenge is to build one that dispenses exactly one steel ball, instead of feeding the whole array of them into them, making this thing useless. So, is it possible? It is. Let me show you what I came up with. The Cobra R9 12mm steel ball magazine feeder. Let me show you its features. Well, first of all, it is fairly simple. As you see, it's again a box, but a little bit more complicated because it actually has a moving part, this one here. And this is so that when I remove this little plug here and then feed in my 12mm steel balls, I think it would keep like, I don't know, maybe 20 or 25 of them. Maybe even 31. Ooh, imagine that. And once I have a few of them in them, I can plug this closed again, so they can't fall out. And what happens now is that they are still held back by this lever here. And every time I kind of, only my pinky will fit in here. Every time I push the lever back, exactly one ball will be fed. So this is a true dispenser, like a little pest dispenser for steel. And this attaches the very same way like the bolt magazine, so I can exchange them back and forth, because there are two screws here, and then here in the front, where you mount it. Simply put it on, like this, and then you screw it down. It's not hard, because you can easily slide this to the front, and so that you can easily access the front screws. So this is how it looks fully mounted. As you see, it's on there solid, and I even put a red dot sight on it. And now look what happens when I do the action. As you see, the steel ball is fed to it and is attached to the magnet. And I can close it and then fire, and then I can repeat the whole thing. One more ball is fed and fire, and then once more. This is very quick. And a lot of fun. Okay, now I know that a lot of people now want to know how it all works, and therefore I removed the side plate for you. And you see it has this moving part, which is actually, see, swings like this with a little spring. And then you have the sled, and you have the magazine here, which is gravity fed. So what happens is when you move this forward, as you can see, exactly one ball is dispensed and the other balls are held back. Now if I move this forward again, as you can see, the balls are still held back. And if I now shoot, then the whole process repeats. And I can even shoot with the rest of the magazine mounted, like that. Okay, is it accurate? Well, not very accurate, but probably accurate enough for a typical self-defense distance. So let's try if we can hit that target with a few shots. Oh. And now my string teared. Interesting, it didn't tear right in the center where you would expect, but it was tearing here at one of the loops. I probably need to make it a little bit thicker with a few more strings. Let me show you how to make a new string for it from scratch. What you need is Dacron. It's some kind of waxed thread that you can buy on eBay or in any archery store. It's inexpensive, and actually with a roll like this you can make plenty of them. So, and then of course what you have to do is you have to make yourself a little rig. And they are very fancy ones, but what I use is I use a piece of wood and two nails hammered in the exact distance of the length that I want. And then you start to wind it. Last time I was using only about 20 strings in total, and this time we will go for 30 to be on the safe side. So now we have a nice bundle, and see that the knot I moved a little bit over to the middle, but not always to the middle, because now we are serving the strings, the ears later on. And now we're tying here and here. And now the most important part, the middle string. And now our string is finished. As you see, it has the double serving in the middle, and it's right now very stiff here. And it also has the right ears, and those ears are now a lot stronger than the previous ones. And to show you the difference, this is the original string that you get with it. So let's hold them the same distance. As you see, my string is a good, I would say, yeah, 5 centimeters shorter than this one. In order to change the string on a powerful crossbow like this, it is easiest, and you can do this with just one man alone, to use a help string. Like this one that actually was sent to me by EK Archery. I think they want to start selling it soon. This one is nice because it's made from a smooth material that makes it easy to take it out. All I had to do is put in one knot because my string is shorter and therefore I need a little more room. And then what you do is you simply use it like a normal string, like that. And now it is easy to slip on the new string. You just have to make sure to slip this in between the big ear of the new string, of the help string, because otherwise it will be impossible to get the help string removed again. And then once you've released the tension again, it is super easy to take the help string, remove it, and you are all set. Alright, we're back in business with the new string. Alright. That was pretty good, don't you think? So, what do I think about the ball shooting crossbow adaptation? I think it is fun, but it's definitely not a good alternative for the bolts, because the bolts are faster, they have a lot more energy, they have far more penetration power, and they are a lot more accurate. Plus, there's probably less wear on the string. So therefore, this is an interesting experiment, but I don't think it will actually be produced ever. I was just challenged by it and wanted to find out if it's possible, and as you see, it is. Now, of course, one question remains. This thing with the shorter string. What happens when you use this to shoot normal arrows? That actually is dangerous, because you would bend the bow limb much more far than it's supposed to be bent. Therefore, I encourage you to not try these things at home, because it is very dangerous. And of course, if you must do it, against my clear warning, make sure that you have a proper safety t-shirt on. But let's do it. I've actually never done it. It's possible that it breaks. Okay. Yeah, it is kind of scary. Look at that. But it works. Wow, what a tension. Whoa! I think we have to clock it. Not bad at all. Okay, we'll do a crony test with a short string. Oops. 303.9. And it smashed my precious crony, I think. Yeah, I think it must have hit right there. I think I can salvage the crony because there's not too much damage and the electronics seem to be proper. But that happens when you abuse equipment. So now we're exceeding 300 FPS with the pistol crossbow. Not bad. Does this mean I encourage everyone to do the same trick with the shorter string? No. This will definitely shorten the lifetime of the bow by far. Also, what will happen is that it will also be more aggressive against the string. It is even dangerous if this shatters, then things can happen. So don't do it, just use it the way how the manufacturer asks you to do. Don't do it here, because this is the Slingshot Channel and we do inventions, destruction and stunts. Anyway, I hope you like this, because that's it for today. Thanks and bye-bye. One word about the knife that I showed last time. My custom Jörg Sprave Razor Tanto. It's completely sold out. I think it was practically sold out after one day. We held back a few because we were not sure how our computer handled it all, and we didn't want to pick orders that we could not fulfill. But they're all gone now, all gone, sold out within just one day. It's amazing. Thank you guys, that was awesome. Also, I was putting up that one for lottery, and actually the winner has been drawn. Now, if you want to know who won, you need to check out my Facebook site. It's listed down below. But I have to say that I have several prizes that are still unclaimed. I actually emailed the winners, and sometimes I never got a reply. A lot of people got something, but a lot of people never came back to me. They probably want to stay anonymous. I don't know what the reason for this is. And I'm thinking about maybe I will put them all up for a lottery again. So in any case, check the Facebook site, maybe you won.